Good day, grade 10 researchers. Now that you know already how to calculate for the sample size, or you would know already who would be the participants of your study, the next step is for you to know what instrument are you going to use to, of course, collect data from those samples of yours. So, for this session, we will be focusing on learning about research instrument. So, what do we mean by that research instrument? So, research instrument is also known as a tool. It is a research tool used by researchers to collect and analyze data. So there are many examples of research instruments, namely questionnaires, observation checklists, tests, experiments, scales, diaries, focus groups, guide, and even interview guides. So we will be tackling them one at a time for you to distinguish one tool to another, and maybe after this video lesson, you could now think of what particular tool or research instrument are you going to create depending on the type of research questions that you need to answer for your study. So, the first common type of research instrument is a questionnaire. So remember, this questionnaire could either be for your study, be researcher made, wherein you're going to really create that research instrument, that specific questionnaire, or you could opt to adopt a validated research instrument that is aligned to or the same to what you wanted to look for or measure for your study. If there is already available wherein you could adopt it, then you may use it. But if you could create your own research instrument, that would be better. So, what is this questionnaire? So, it's a set of written questions given to the participants to answer. It could be open ended, wherein you're going to ask questions and they're going to explain their responses to that question, or it could be also closed ended. So there are choices that you have prepared, and then the students would only, or the participants would only check which among those choices apply to themselves. And the purpose of this questionnaire is to collect opinion of the participants, to collect their attitudes towards it, their perception, or how they view a certain thing, or even their behaviors. So from a group of those participants. And this questionnaire is usually used in descriptive or correlational research. So if your study, or if the research design of your study right now is more into descriptive and correlational, listen attentively to this certain part, because in a while I will be showing to you examples of researcher made questionnaire wherein you could also tailor your research questionnaire that you're going to create later on. And examples of questions in the questionnaires are: how often do you study at home? So the participants could either answer it, um, if the question is open ended, they would just write their answer on the blank. They would say, for example, how often, always, or not so much. Or if you have their boxes, then that's better. Do you enjoy learning science? Yes or no? So here are examples of questionnaires. So, for example, sample questionnaire items for study habits and science learning. Here are the questions. How often do you study at home? So you have provided here already the choices wherein the students would, or the participants would just check the boxes that you have there depending on the instruction that you give them. How many hours do you usually spend during each day? So there are choices given. When studying, how often do you minimize distractions? How organized are your study materials? How motivated do you feel when studying at home? Motivated, highly motivated, and so on and so forth. So basically, it seeks to know the perceptions, what their attitudes toward it, how often they would study depending on how they feel. Okay. Of course, another example, attitudes towards learning science. So not interested, how interested are you in science topics, and so on and so forth. So basically, questionnaires contain questions, and in that questions you could either provide um, choices for them to check depending on their answer. And this questionnaire could also be in a form of Likert scale. So although Likert scale is another one because scaling refers to, of course, measures of whether opinions or attitudes, and may ginagamit nga scales. Ano nang scales? For example, rate yabe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in those numerical data, there's a specific name or category that corresponds to that. For example, 1 for strongly disagree, 2 for disagree, 3 for neutral, 4 for agree, and 5 for strongly agree. Another example of Likert scale on determining the level of students' motivation is still 1 to 5 ang iyang scaling, and ang iyang ano dira, it's not motivated, slightly motivated, moderately motivated, motivated, and highly motivated. Those are the descriptions of those scales provided. Based on the research of Otokan et al. 2024, their study aims to first two questions, yeah. What is the level of carbon footprint awareness of laboratory school students? Second question, yeah. What is the level of environmental behavior among laboratory school students? Third research question, I think, is there a significant relationship between the level of carbon footprint awareness and environmental behavior of laboratory school students? So these part 1 and part 2 of the questionnaire created by Otokan et al. 2024 answers the first and second research questions that they have, because we use these tools to gather data for descriptive questions. For inferential questions later on, they need not to have another separate table or questionnaire to answer that, because based on the data of these two, it could be used to interpret the level of relationship, or is there a significant relationship among the two variables. Okay, going back. So their scaling here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still, and they have descriptions: fully not aware, moderately aware, aware, and fully aware. So it tells us the level of carbon footprint awareness. So if they say, I understand what a carbon footprint is and how it relates to climate change, so it depends on the students or participants. If they are fully aware, then they're going to check this part, or so on and so forth. So another, for level of environmental behavior, ilang nga ginagamit naman di nga scaling, like Likert scale still, 1 to 5. The description varies. Either the students would agree or disagree. So if they would strongly agree, meaning their level of environmental behavior is quite high. All right, so there's a specific explanation or interpretation to whatever choice they would make. So again, this rating scale and this particular example that I have here is an example of a Likert scale. So wherein you're going to create statements, and then depending on the statements that you've created, you identify there what this the scaling on what on how the participants would rate, and the description depending on the scoring. So that's a rating scale. Okay, now we have another example from Balahadia et al. 2024. So they created a self-esteem questionnaire. So still a Likert scale. Could see here strongly agree, agree, disagree, and strongly disagree. So instead of 5-point scale, ilaya apat lang, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they have their statements like, of course, if since it's self-esteem questionnaire, the statements must reflect, or the students would identify their level of self-esteem if they have high or low self-esteem. That would be determined if they will agree or disagree to the following statements. For example, I believe I am capable of performing well in my academic subjects. I am satisfied with my overall academic performance, so on and so forth. So again, here is a rating scale wherein you have created scales of 1 to 5, 1 to 4, depends on you. And others, I have uh, met an example of a Likert scale. It's a 10-point scale. So it was used to measure the sensory perception of particular individual in terms of the pandan that they used in that specific study. So it depends on your study if you're going to use a 3-point, 4-point, 5-point Likert scale. Aria, this is an example of a 5-point rate, 5-point Likert scale. This one is a 4-point Likert scale. Okay, another type of research instrument is a test or an assessment tool. So it's a prepared exam or performance task designed to measure knowledge, skills, or performance in a specific subject or topic. It's usually objective, based on correct answers or measurable performance. And of course, since it would want to measure knowledge, usually those questions have correct answers depending on the subject that is being measured. For example, in physics, what is the formula for acceleration? So you would know if the students know the answer if they would answer meters per second squared. So if their answer is correct, then that's 1 point. Explain how photosynthesis works. So they must be able to explain how light rays from the sun is being used up by plants to produce their own food. So that would tell us the it would tell us the measure of knowledge or understanding of the students if they could explain that. So unlike a questionnaire, a test or an assessment tool is more of measuring the knowledge, kung may naintindihan, mastery of the students, and even their skills or performance. Ang questionnaire, you are just asking for their opinion, attitudes, or how often they do these things based on their behaviors, none. But if you wanted to measure the knowledge, skills, and performance, the tool that you're going to use is test or a test assessment tool. And Unlike the questionnaire that is used mainly for descriptive correlational research, tests or assessment tools are used in experimental or performance-based research. So again, if you wanted to measure the mastery of the students on a specific subject or their conceptual understanding. So usually the ones who create this type of assessment tools, especially ang exam na, are the teachers or ang mga BS Ed students, ang college students taking Bachelor of Secondary Education or elementary education, they are creating that exams because in the near future there will be teachers and they need to know how to identify the level of conceptual understanding of the students. So, i-share ko lang ya ha. Oh, by the way, it's not only exam. There are times that the assessment tool for you to know how much the students could, for example, no, could perform an simple investigation related to biology, for example. That's what you wanted to know. So, of course, perform. So, the type of task that you wanted the student para mas makita mo gid nga nag-perform sila is to provide a rubric to rate the students depending on their performance. So, by answering questions alone, that wouldn't tell us specifically the performance or skills that is acquired or the student particularly acquires or knows. So, mas better siya if, for example, may role play or vlogging or ano pa nang a performance task nga ginahatag ni teacher kag amo na ginaubra sa kabataan. So, in there, if in terms of performance, the teacher here will prepare as well a rubric on how to rate the students for them to become more objective. This is an example of an exam created by BS Ed science students. I think many of you or some of you may have answered these questions before. You may have been their participants for pilot testing before. I don't know if you're familiar with this particular instrument or assessment tool or test that was administered to you. So, of course, this is to measure the conceptual understanding of the students in many physics subjects. Many physics lessons specifically in grade 8. So, topics would include force and motion, light, electricity and magnetism, and so on and so forth. So, of course, since this is a test or assessment tool, there's a question, there's choices, and of course, there's a specific answer to those questions. And for the researchers who are creating this kind of instrument, they have to provide as well table of specifications wherein based on the conceptual understanding test that they created, a 50-item exam or test, the teacher would create a table of specifications specifying the number of items that they have created, and at the same time, what type of question does it belong? Is it applying, analyzing, evaluating? So you may not, in your own level for grade 10 students, not taking education courses, you may not realize this or you find it blurry in your imagination as of now because you haven't experienced this, but this can be used later on by BS Ed teachers. At least you have an idea that when you create a questionnaire, you're not just creating questions. You have to ensure that those questions would target higher order thinking skills of the students applying, analyzing, and evaluating. Yes. So this is to ensure that the kind of students that we create or we develop in elementary and in high school are critical minded individuals because they could analyze more and do away for recalling and memorization of definitions and so on and so forth. So this is what the validators or experts would check later on if the certain item or question is relevant to the research question or if the questions are valid. So yeah, again, the third tool or research instrument that you could use is test or assessment tool. Next, we have interview guide. So this interview guide is usually used if your type or if your research design or your type of research is a qualitative research. So for example, in our narrative inquiry, you wanted to gather stories from different informants or respondents or participants. So in a form of interview, so as a researcher, you must have created an interview protocol guide or interview protocol. So it would contain list of questions asked personally or could be done virtually to gather detailed personal insights. Example of which, interviewing teachers about their teacher experience before and during the pandemic, as well as how they envision their teaching after the pandemic. So that the interview guide or interview protocol that I will be showing to you is a product of my own research. It has been validated by instruments, and this is what I used when I interviewed the teachers. So for your interview protocol, if ever lang ha, I will just share it to you. Maybe you may not use it now, but in senior high school, specifically, I think in grade 11 or grade 12, I don't know when qualitative type of research um, would be learned by you later on. But I am certain in senior high school, you will be conducting a qualitative research. So you would be creating an interview guide or an interview protocol containing the list of questions that you would be asking to your participants to gather information, to gather insights from their responses. So, there is a specific guideline in creating an interview protocol, and it must have first description of the research study. So, you must detail there what the study is all about, um, and how or what would be the benefit of conducting your study to engage your participants to to join or participate in the interview. After that is the introductory script. uh, the script that you're going to say to the participants when you start the interview, either done usually one by one at a time na eh. So, you're gonna say, good morning, I am a student of, I will be conducting a research entitled, and doing so. So, what's the purpose? Tell them what's the purpose of your study. And of course, you have to assure the participants that all the information that they would be sharing would be used only for educational purposes. You would also ensure their anonymity, meaning anonymous. You will not share exactly the name of that particular participant for Data Privacy Act na siya. So you could provide them with pseudonyms. For example, instead of saying the participant is Aba Nicole Cartagena, I could say her name is the first participant is Marites. So AKA, also known as alias or pseudonym. So you create that in qualitative research. And also you inform them that the if you could um, use or record the entire interview for you to, of course, not miss any notes, and ano na and every details that he or she will share will be covered and will be integrated in your study. And you also encourage here in the introductory script that they should expound on their answers, because there's no right or wrong answers. So, for them to be at ease as well, and para damo sila may ma-share sa inyo, because that's the main purpose of interview, to gather more in-depth, detailed responses from the participants. They would not just say yes or no. They will not just say, I agree, disagree, but they're going to explain more about it. So, yeah, that's it. So, after the description of the research study, after the introduction script, next is the interview script. Now, it will now have the list of questions that you're going to ask to that specific participant. So, according to, uh, I forgot the author who laid down the parts of an interview protocol, no? But it was validated and it was published, so that's the reason why I used it. Anyway, according sa guidelines, when conducting an interview, you shall not immediately ask questions relative to your study. Ask questions that will build rapport, or do ano lang, asking background information para do amat-amat do ma-at-ease man ang imo nga interviewee sa imo nga do ma-share gid siya bala, hindi ka magdiretso sa question kay basi ma-intimidate na siya karon basi hindi sa kabalo. So at least mangkot-mangkot anay, for example, since this interview protocol guide is for the teachers, I asked them, how many years have you been teaching in this school? What grade levels of subjects do you teach here? Do you have any other functions other than teaching? Have you taught in schools other than, and so on and so forth. So I have now started questions, but these questions is aimed to build rapport with the participant. Now, for the part 2, this will now answer the questions that are laid in here will answer my first research question. By the way, for my study, I have 3 research questions. First is, how do teachers describe biology pedagogy prior the pandemic? So that's the first question that I need to answer. So if you notice, akon questions, they from general to specific. What's your approach to biology lesson? Can you describe your process of planning? So, all the questions, depende sa mo, may follow-up questions kapag yun, to ensure that their response would answer to your question, how do teachers describe biology pedagogy prior the pandemic? So, before the pandemic. So, another part 3 of my interview protocol, the questions that I have stated in there will gather data for the informants about how they describe biology pedagogy during the pandemic. I forgot to include, there's still part 4 of the instrument wherein I asked them how do they envision the way they teach after the pandemic, because that's my third question. How do they envision biology pedagogy after the pandemic or for the new normal? So if you notice, if your research instrument or tool is an interview guide, all the questions that you have stated in there must be able to gather in-depth idea of the participant answering all your research questions. Okay? So, dapat tanan-tanan mga research question, kung all would be answered through an interview, then dapat tanan mo nga questions nga ginbutang dara kompleto and masabat tanan nga research questions mo. Because when you subject your interview guide protocol for validation, i-counter check na iya sang expert. Diin nga part sang imo nga questions diri could answer the first research question that you have. Diin diri nga part could answer the last research question in your statement of the problem. Nan. And last part, after nasang interview proper, no, should be wrapping up. So, your script as a researcher, thanking the participant for participating and giving their insights and even responses to all the questions that you've asked them. So, that's the component of an interview guide. So, wala lang na siya naga lista lang sang mga pamangkot mo, but it follows scripts, description of the study, introduction of the study, introductory script, interview, proper questions, and even wrap up. So, dapat kompleto na siya. So, hopefully, you could make use of what you have learned about creating an interview guide, research instrument for your qualitative research later on. Next type of research instrument is an observation checklist. From the word itself, the teacher here would check whatever behaviors, actions, or events she have observed or watched and recorded. So, example here is observing student participation in class. For example, here's the instruction for each student. The teacher will check the box that matches their behavior. So, for example, abi, amon si student 1, no? I-check ya. Did student 1 show excitement and enthusiasm? Kung always, check. Is student 1 participating actively in group activities? Basi rarely, always man. Ask questions about the experiment, basi nagahuya-huya? Rarely. So, this is a tool wherein the teacher or whoever participants would just check whatever behavior the students is showing and make sure lang that this observation checklist is corresponding to what your study really wanted to conduct. Okay, so that's observation checklist. Next is the document analysis form. So it's used when studying existing documents, records, or files. Example is analyzing students' report cards or attendance logs. So there are times that you as researchers, for example, you wanted to know the level of academic performance of grade 10 students, those that are participants only of your study. So you're going to request to the advisor of those students who are part of your sample size to gather that specific grade in whatever for the entire subjects or for specific subjects only, and you're going to analyze that data that they have shared to you. Same with, for example, in the study of Cordova 2024, I think that's just last year, they have gotten the attendance sheet of science teacher, particularly I, teaching physics and chemistry before, and use that attendance log or attendance sheet that they've gotten from me as basis on interpreting the level of the factors that affect student tardiness. I think that's their study. Next tool that you could use to gather or collect data, of course, is experiment record sheet. So, usually in an experimental research, no, say, for example, to lang ginsugid ko sa inyo in the previous video, when they wanted to know what type of fertilizer, either brand X or brand Y, or brand X or brand Y, could improve the growth of plants, specifically tomato plants, then they're going to measure the stem or the height of the plant in every week or every month. So, depende kung saan o. And whenever they check, they have to take note of the measurement, either in centimeter or pila manada. They have to have that experiment record sheet, because that sheet or experiment record sheet contains all the data or measurement that they must use later on in interpreting the result. So based on the data, they would say that, okay, brand X is better fertilizer type to enhance the growth of tomato plants, or is it the other way around? So yes, that's it. Now that you know already the different research tools that you could use. By the way, I forgot to mention earlier, usually daan, gaka-confuse ang iban. Is it a questionnaire or a survey? Remember guys, a questionnaire is the tool. Diba? Research instrument, it's a tool eh. Ang survey, it's a method. For example, you're conducting a survey and the student will answer a questionnaire. Diba? So, questionnaire is the tool that you're going to use. And, kung paano ina siya ginansweran sa kabataan, that's the method or ang process nga ginano mo. Kung in a form of survey, that's a survey questionnaire. Okay? May ara man instances that, interview guide is a tool, but the process on getting responses from the participants using that interview guide or a tool is an interview. So interview is not a research instrument, but it is a method of getting ideas, personal stories, or whatever it is to the participants using your interview guide. Okay? Tandaan ha, lain ang method sa tool. Ang tool amo na ang instrument nga ginagamit mo to gather the data. Dira ma-answer ang participants mo, or dira mo ilista ang mga measurements nga kinanglan in an experiment to check if there's a change in the variable or what. Nan. Pero ang process or ang method, it's different from a tool. Okay? Tandaan nyo na siya. Okay, kaka-confuse ang iban eh. They say survey is a tool daw. No. Survey is a method used when students answer a questionnaire to gather data and answer to the questionnaire. So here are now the steps in creating a research instrument. First and foremost, you have to review your research questions. Kapila ko ginliwat-liwat kang gina, especially when I showed to you an interview guide protocol, every questions that you have in your tool must give you relevant data to answer all your research questions. Kung interview guide man ang gamiton mo, dapat tanan nga questions masabat ang imo research questions diin makita sa statement of the problem. Kung questionnaire ang imo nga gamiton, siguraduhon mo ang mga pamangkot mo masabat ang imo nga research questions. So if you wanted to identify the level of for example, anong mga study nyo subong man? Level of academic performance, let's say for example. So, grades lang man na siya kuhaon. So, just a simple questionnaire, open-ended question. Either you let the students write their average grade, or you ask directly from the teacher or advisor to give you the exact grade. Or behavioral. So, ang may mga checklist na nan. So, pwede man na siya. Just make sure that whatever tool you're going to use would really answer your research questions. So, ang second one, decide what kind of data you need. Would you need a quantitative data or measurement? Or basic gusto mo qualitative data, opinions and experiences. Qualitative data, usually mga in the form of interviews. Perceptions. Quantitative data, mga Likert scale or test na. Depende. May score sila. Scores, if you recall, ratio type of data, ratio level, kay makita mong scores again. Next is, this would help you choose between surveys, interviews, or observations. Third is, after you have decided onto what kind of data you're going to gather, you select the right instrument or right research tool. Wala din itong research tool, pwede questionnaire, pwede test or exam for experimental research, pwede nga interview guide for interview type of or a qualitative research, pwede observational checklist na depende sa inyo, pwede rating scale, Likert scale. Next is drop your items or questions. Make sure to write clear, simple, and unbiased questions and avoid confusing or leading words. So, simplify lang. Kasi syempre, you are researchers, grade 10 ka mo, and you usually inyong participants are also high school students, diba? Grade 7 to grade 10. So, you have to make sure that the statements or questions in your research questionnaire or research instrument could be easily understood by the other students who will be answering your instrument. So, avoid using mga highly sophisticated words nga mabudlayan sila sa batkay. Kung mabudlayan sila inchindi karon, their response might be different from what you expect. Ti sala hindi valid karon ang inyo nga sabat. Next is number 5, you organize the instrument. Arrange questions from general to specific. Include an introduction and instructions for the respondents or for the participants. Amo to kita yung mga samples kagina, no? Before I have shown to you the scales, right? The rating scales or Likert scales, may mga instructions anay nga ginahambal ang participants kung ano siya, ma-check siya sa box, just write the capital letter of the correct answer on the blank, or so on and so forth, so that klaro ang instruction nyo for the informants. Next is validate your instrument. So when you have created your own researcher-made instrument, you have to suspend that into validation. So you're going to ask 3 experts to review your tool for clarity and relevance. So, ano na siyang mga experts? So, kung inyo ngayon study is all about, for example, voting preferences or perceptions of Gen Z and Gen X. So, most probably, who could give you who could best validate your research are of course si Ma'am Rhea Vanessa Lopez, being able to teach araling panlipunan. Diba la? Usually, amo nang ginatudlo sa AP. Ano pagid? Sino pagid? Ang mga ano sang behaviors, if ever behaviors kamo, no? Basi may mga psychologist kamo nga kilala or bisan diri lang sa school, pwede man kung sino na dang most into leadership naga intra dera, pwede dai Sir Marty, so on and so forth. If ever you're into pareho sa kanday utokan before about carbon footprint awareness about biology or science topics, of course, who are able to validate their instruments could be a science teacher, may not be from ISATU but from other school. Nan, kung science related, kung siguraduhon nyo lang ang inyong experts are not your research advisor, not your research teacher, and not your members of your panel. So, look for 3. Anyway, your research advisor could help you look for expert who could best review your research instrument for clarity and relevance. So, one of the experts also are grammarian to check the grammar of your questions kung correct man or sala. to ensure that your instrument is valid. And i-check nila kung relevant bala, tanan bala nga item, statements, or questions sa imo nga research instrument. Could it really lead you to answer your research questions in the statement of the problem? Kay kung hindi man lang makasabat, ti pa-remove na da. Kay base imo study is to check the level of online game engagement sa kabataan, pero imo mga questions siya about sa sleeping patterns, is it relative or relevant to the online game engagement? No. So that's what the validator shall do, ensuring that your research instrument or the tool that you're going to use could answer your research questions, could gather data to answer your research questions. Number 7, after nga na-validate na ang instrument, you're going to do a pilot test. Again, so, saan o ikaw nag-pilot test? You perform a pilot test if you have created a research instrument as a group, as a researcher, and you have validated it. So, dapat, after validity testing, based on the results of the expert, you're going to do reliability testing. And for you to test for reliability, dapat i-pilot test mo na siya. Meaning, i-test mo siya beforehand, not on your sample size nga kuha na, but on the other participants that are not are not members of your sample size. Okay? So, kang gina, di ba in the previous video lesson, when we conducted or solved for the sample size for population of 98 students, grade 10 students, di ba 79 kato kabilog ang ang tawag na ang participants, no, or ang sample size. So the remaining sa to 780 more than lapit-lapit 20, no, so will be your respondents for pilot test. Pero remember, when I asked the statisticians or mathematicians, specifically Sir John Rex and Sir Joseph, when you conduct a pilot test, at least 30 kabilog imo participants. Again remember nyo na mangkuton ta ka muna next time, pila kabilog dapat ang ginabutang nyo sa pilot test as participants, at least 30. Okay na ng 30. Hindi na pagdamua pa, kay pwede na marana ang data kung 30 kabilog inyo nga participants. So kung case kang gina 20 plus lang, ngita ka mo sang iban grade 9 ba kung kulang gid sa grade 10. Pero ang pilot test na initially or ideally dapat ginakandak mo na siya into different group of students from different school, which